All right, you're on.
Good.
Thank you.
Good morning. Monday, December 13th, Tufton Borough Board of Selectmen's meeting. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, begin with the review and approval of minutes. First up is regular meeting minutes from last week. Last Monday.
Nothing jumped out at me as being incongruent with the meeting.
All right,
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we have two sets of non-public. 10:35.
I'll move approval of the 10:35 minutes.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And 10:42.
I'll move approval of the 10:42 minutes.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. Thank you. Next up, we have a public hearing for, as a progress update for the project at North Country Village. And I would like to ask Don Lane to come on up and
Come on up and chat.
chat.
So we're required to have a progress public hearing during the life of the project, and that's what this is. And so it's just to say where we're at and tell the public and ask the public if they have any comments. And as usual, I have to read a little bit to you. That's how Cdbg is. So community development block grant funds are available to municipalities through the New Hampshire Community Development Finance Authority. Up to $500,000 annually is available on a competitive basis for public facility projects, up to $500,000 for housing projects, up to $500,000 for economic development projects, and up to $350,000 for emergency activities that all projects have to directly benefit a majority of low and moderate income persons. There's also up to $25,000 per planning study available. Purpose of the hearing is to update the public on and take public comments on the progress of the water improvements project at North Country Village Manufactured Housing Cooperative, a 57-unit manufactured housing park located at 100 Willow Ave. So on the well, the new well's installed and the testing was done and the well pump and all the appurtenances are installed. So that's substantially complete. The new distribution system, the water lines, that new distribution piping is installed, new service connections are being installed, the drainage piping has been completed since this was written. The well house, we were hoping to change order the well house to being rehabbed, but that was kind of pricey. So we've rejected that. And now we're talking about building a new well house. We had thought that the project would be substantially complete by the end of December, but we're going to be a little bit later because of doing a new well house instead of rehabbing the old one. So we're going to be going into next year. Final paving and cleanup will be done in the spring. Any questions or comments?
So how much money have you spent so far?
Well, there's a new billing process right now. How much of our money we've spent just under the 200,000, right? Wasn't it like 170 or something? But there's a new bill which would probably be a pretty pricey one coming in this week, and then we'll be paying part of. We didn't pay for the well, that was DES, so we paid certain things, and we'll be paying towards the new pump house. We'll spend everything.
Because we just got a budget report dated 12/10, and it says a year-to-date expense of $3,920,883.45. Does that number mean anything to you?
No.
Okay. So maybe before you leave.
3 million?
That's what it says.
Has to do with this. We've spent like 170,000 of Cdbg.
Okay.
I don't know what 3 million is.
maybe that's a total.
Yeah. You're looking at this
Maybe
number?
what we need to do though is have,
I can tell you before I
You
leave
stop
the
with-
exact amount.
you stop with Kathy in the
Yeah.
business office and just run through these numbers. Because,
We don't have 3 million to
no,
spend.
I apologize. That
If you
was-
did, I don't know where you got it, but
That's
good.
the total town expenses.
Yeah,
But it's showing $177,066.90. But zero budget. I'm not showing any of that as income.
you've gotten the money,
I'm sure we have.
and we paid
I
it, we
just-
waited till you got
I
it.
just need to have it reflected in the budget.
Okay,
That's all. I'm
but,
not-
yeah, but whatever we paid on behalf of this project, we wait till it gets here, and then you distribute what you get.
Right.
Yeah.
So, when I look at this revenue report we got today,
Did we get it?
we have received $185,985.90
In total.
in the community
Mhm.
development block grant.
There was some admin in the beginning, which was probably like 8-ish,
Right.
and then recently 177-ish.
Yeah,
So,
and we have,
I just need to find the revenue.
Yeah.
bill.
and we've expended $177,066.90.
actually, you've expended the whole thing. One was quite a while ago.
Okay, so, all right, so, yeah, they should match, right? So I'm
We're
wondering-
never allowed extra money. Whatever comes in goes out.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right,
So we'll fix that.
yep. So I'm wondering if we ended up showing that other
8-ish.
8,000 in expense last year instead of on the current year or something.
Yeah, it could be.
You know, but we know they're not gonna give us more money than
Nope.
the project.
And you're gonna spend it as soon as you get it.
Yeah.
We can only order money that we have to give out immediately.
Right,
We have a bill for it.
right. So here's somebody that maybe can answer our questions. Okay, so, you know Donna Lane,
I do.
Aye.
so
So we're,
when we're talking about progress on the North Country Village project, when we look at revenue,
Yeah.
We
on
spent
that-
everything,
on that
right?
block, on the block grant, we show $185,985.90 in revenue on the revenue report. We show expense of a little less than that, $177,086.90. So the additional $8,000 or wherever it is, maybe we posted that last year?
Yeah, because we did spend $8,000 initially.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's,
So it's possible that we got the revenue for the $8,000 in January or something like that, but I'd have to verify that.
okay,
Yeah.
And we need to clean this up because it's even confusing me. You never listed any revenue for community block grant. We got $185,000. So if you go through your estimated revenue, you really should have $3,088,428. And if you add to that the police facility grant of $341,000, you're well over $3,243,000, which is what you've got for a total here. And then you've got a payback of $3,978, and a question mark on $13,337. So you've got DRA approved revenue of $3,260,000, which is nowhere close to what it should be.
Well, are you saying that the community block grant money should be in there?
You've already added it.
so it's in the revenue.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. You
And
haven't added it.
Well,
It
and
came
it's-
through as
I-
revenue because
I
you're
know.
listing it over here as an expense. So your expense, if you go through the
Right.
expense totals, those are wrong as well.
my problem is with the way Unismart reports come together. I can't control some of those incomes that don't belong in there. And so when we come to the end of the year, okay, we pay Well, that's the expenditure report. When we come at the end of the year, there are things in there that come to us as revenue that is not for us to spend on a regular budget, but is set aside for things like, community block grant.
Right.
It's not part of our budget. It should be set aside, but the way Muni Smart Revenue reports is, all that would have to be exported in Excel and taken out. That would be the only way to clean up that report.
Well, no, on the one hand, you've got the revenue in at 185,000 with a 0 estimated revenue. And on the expense side, you've got 0 estimated budget and $177,000 out. That's the confusing part. So you should have,
So the other $8,000,
this should be
It
at
all
least
needs-
177.
it all needs to be posted in the same year.
This should be.
Otherwise, we end up with a
Yeah, I know.
A difference.
That would be ideal.
Yep.
I agree.
985. So this number here, the revenue number should be over here as well. And
Well, and
this
that's what-
number here has to be over here.
The reason why in my opinion, that revenue is not yours to spend.
But we showed it as an expense.
I know, and that's why it's crossed off, because it shouldn't be in this report. And that's why I say that the only way to clean these up is if we export it in Excel and take those out, because it's not part of our budget.
Well, how do you track it?
We're just, how do we track it? Well, I have a
Okay, so
binder
the
that
federal government's gonna send us a check for $185,000. We're gonna put it in the bank, and then we're gonna write a check for it. Is that how it
Yes,
works?
yes.
So that's no different than anything else, really.
True, but it's outside our budget, doesn't belong to us. We're just a holding tank. We're just a
Pass-through.
pass-through, right, and we shouldn't commingle
I
that.
don't know how our auditors,
Because I don't report that information to DRA. I don't report that, so really, my suggestion would be to export these reports in Excel when we get these kinds of funds that are outside our budget, so that way you know what's truly revenue for the selectmen to use.
I guess we're gonna have to respectfully disagree with that. The money was sent to the town of Tuftonboro.
Yes.
We have to account for it.
And we are, and I have a
But we're
binder.
accounting for it off the books.
It is and it isn't, Chip. It's in a binder
Yeah.
that I have, and I keep track of even the gopher money that we got, 126,000. That's not revenue that should be reported because it's for a certain purpose and it's set aside.
So,
You know,
so
It's no different than a warrant article.
It's just that when we look at it, we need to be able to differentiate between operating budget and other projects that are outside of that. And we do that fine with the warrant articles because they're in a separate area from the operating budget.
So the revenues that should be on the revenue report are revenues that you would use to reduce your taxes, and revenues that offset warrant articles, those should be on the report. But money's coming for other
Okay, we're
purposes.
gonna continue to
Yeah.
respectfully disagree.
Okay.
Any revenue that comes into the town needs to be reported
Yes, and it is.
openly. And we can't have this behind the doors stuff. Beyond that, if we had $185,000 that came in and it all got spent on one project, which is outside the purview of the town other than revenue, then you're gonna zero out the column on the right-hand side, which is what you do. And you're gonna zero out the column on the expense side as well. So it's a zero sum at the end. It's not gonna affect the operating budget, but it is gonna reflect the money that came through the house. That's all I'm saying.
Mhm.
I'm done.
Good.
All right. Yep. So,
Can I interrupt? Can you ask for
Yes.
public comment on the
Yes.
project? Because we have to have that.
yeah,
Okay.
yes. Is there any public input?
Thank you.
Okay.
We just have to say we asked.
Right.
That's all, yeah.
No, exactly.
We have no motions, no anything required on this. That's all it was for public comment.
Yep,
Okay.
good.
So, and if you have any other projects you want to talk about, now that you've entered in CDBG world, let me know.
Well, we're
Okay?
looking for another $400,000
I knew
for
it.
the police department.
Yeah,
We can't do that.
Yeah.
right.
The reason is they consider that, your responsibility, you have to do it. If you were doing handicap accessibility to the building or something like that, we could help you with that. But in all honesty, once you put federal funds into a project, it ups the price so much that you really need to go for a larger sum than a ramp,
Yeah.
It doubles the price on a lot of things, so. But,
And anything with alternative energy?
well, they do have a lot of loans for solar and stuff.
Mhm.
I do the labor compliance on it, but I don't deal with the details. I just go out in the field and talk and deal with that. But I can have Scott, who does the loans and stuff, talk to you about that, and they're really trying to move some of that money.
That'd be great.
And,
Because we haven't, and that's one area we haven't kept on the table. We've been
Right.
battling with the building itself for over a year.
is it new?
It's not built
It's
yet,
gonna be
right.
brand new.
So solar would be great.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
gonna face the right way and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, and there are other,
but it doesn't really help with the project cost. That's
well, he
that's
does.
additional.
No.
But they can give you loans that are paid back on savings and stuff like that. It's not I don't know all the
Yeah.
details, I
Once you
just
have
deal
them
with the,
in touch.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then even if you don't go with them and borrow any money or get anything from them, there's still a lot of information that they can help you with,
Right.
that's what they do. And then there's some other energy people in the state, I'll give you a couple contacts, they get into the grants and the utility, all those grants and stuff
Correct.
Good.
that I spend, but I don't know how they get it all, but it's always part of our packages, so we just contact different, sorry about that. But I'll send you those things, and you can talk to them and see if it gets you anywhere.
Great.
Yep, good. All right,
Thank y'all.
thank you, Donna.
Have a Merry Christmas.
You too.
There you go.
All right. Great, thank you.
We'll recycle this.
Sure.
Ooh, I'm gonna run you over.
So, next we have Jim Bean. Hi, Jim.
Dean.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Doing well.
There's a copy for each of you.
Nice.
To you. Okay, so since we talked last month, we've been working on a few projects. Cleaning up the ditch lines and the culvert openings, where the culvert openings usually tend to collect sand, and we come through with the backhoe and we dig them out and haul the sand off. And we're still dealing with the beavers, unfortunately, but
So I saw a bill from Waive Pennell.
yes,
That didn't solve the beaver problem.
it helped tremendously. I mean, he's been a great help. But I think the beavers are outsmarting us in certain areas.
Not hard to do.
Well, so we come to agreement a little bit with the beavers. If we let them build up a third of the way, we have a screen across the opening. We let it go up a third of the way and we don't touch it. They don't seem to put any more there. So we're happy with that so far. But he has gotten a handful of them already. He's
Yeah.
taken care of a few areas for us, but they just keep coming. I think we're talking a large volume this year for some reason.
So we need to make sure the natural predators get reintroduced to take care of? I don't, that wolf?
I don't know what is a natural predator to beaver.
Well,
If they're on land, it could be most anything.
Yeah.
If they're in the water, it's pretty tough.
yeah,
Yeah, they're quick underwater too. And we've also gravelled a lot of the low road edges, which we try to do this time of year, for plowing, so we don't get off the edge as well. We filled quite a few potholes around both pavement and dirt. We cleaned up and put away the crack sealing equipment. We've already set up all the plows and all the sanders, and actually, since December 1st, we've actually been out 8 times to either plow or treat the roads or some of the parking lots, which seems like a lot in a short period of time. It was like almost every day for a while.
yeah. Not large amounts of snow, but there's
No.
just a little something, yeah.
But if we don't go out there, I get a call.
Oh, yeah.
Middle of the night. It's
Yeah.
the sheriff's department saying, somebody's off the road, so we got to take care of it. Right now, we're actually currently working on the Teftonboro Neck Road, cleaning up the road edges and trying to make the drainage work a little bit better. I got that report. Some of it was helpful. I was hoping it'd be a little bit more detailed as far as the tree cutting and stuff like that that's required, but we do have some trees that have to be removed. Some of them, well, a lot of them are dead already because they're the ash trees.
Yep.
But we have a couple of trees that are right where the ditch line has to be. There's just no other option. And they're large. So we're working towards that. On the Willand Road projects, we've made good progress this fall with widening the narrow areas, and it's much better for vehicles to pass each other, and definitely much better for plowing. But we still have more to do. We need to rent a hammer to break up some of the ledge in the areas that are sticking out in the road edges that can cause plow damage. And we need to remove some ledge to replace and extend a culvert. We have a culvert that's a little bit shorter than it should be, but they did that because of the ledge. There was just a lot of ledge right on the end of it, on the entrance end and inlet end. And we still need to do some work on the bridge. It's a stone culvert bridge, and the end of it has collapsed in. We still need to rebuild that. And we have a few trees that need to be removed as well. We still have funds that I'm hoping that can be encumbered for next year on that project.
Right.
We made good progress, but there's still the finishing touches that need to be done. And that's what I have.
So, you mentioned tree removal, not just like down on Tufton Neck and other places. I know when I look at the current expense report, you still have, where is it here?
5348.
Yeah, so you still
Correct.
have money available,
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm hoping to use that on Tufton Neck.
okay? So, and we have additional trees beyond that you want to get to.
There's an unreal amount
Right.
of trees around town at the moment.
So I think we might have an opportunity to encumber funds toward additional tree work. But what we need is something to encumber against. So
Okay.
if you can get a current proposal from
Loving tree.
Lowering for, whatever. And next Monday is when we're gonna be doing that, so if we
Okay.
can get a piece of paper and we'll take a look at if we got sufficient funds out there, then that will give us some additional, I know we've got lots and lots of trees, kind of a backlog. So if we can do some extra tree work, that's not a bad idea.
That'd be fantastic.
And if you shut your crack ceiling down, you got $4,200 left in that. I think, right? Is it, I'm looking at the wrong one.
I think it's 3,000.
Yeah, $3,300 left
Yeah.
in, that was unexpended in crack sealing.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, The balance is 4193.
You're right. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Yep.
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 We're-
The wrong column. Yep.
That's good.
Yep.
So between the two of those, you've got 10 grand, or damn close to 10 grand. And that's without getting into your balance on your other maintenance lines. And you've got a copy of this, right?
Yeah, I just got this morning, so I
Yeah.
have a fresh
So you're
copy.
sitting on a $115,000 balance. I don't think we need to encumber all or most of it, but we can certainly encumber enough to do some tree work.
Yep.
We, still have winter stuff coming up, and we have salt
Right.
deliveries. We've already had 2 salt deliveries done this year, and we have 2 more coming in. So, I mean, there will be less than that, obviously, by the time the end of the year comes.
Another instance of paying for 22's stuff with 21 revenue. Expensive.
That's what happens when the fiscal year runs.
No.
Over the time, it's like just.
Yep.
But I think, I mean, I'm hopeful we're here the 14th, is it? Or the 13th? I don't know what day
That's
it is.
tomorrow.
Huh?
Tomorrow's
No,
the
today's-
Today's the 13th, we're here on the
We're halfway
20th.
through December and we've got $115,000 left. I think we
Yeah,
can
I'm feeling good about it.
Right.
We should end up with a positive.
Yeah.
And I know you,
Best we've been, should
you
be
had
good.
an order in for that paving work that didn't end up getting done, right?
Correct.
And how much was that?
I believe that was 18,000 and change.
Yeah, so have you got a piece of paper on that?
Yes.
Down on the table?
Okay.
See
Yep.
what?
So that's in the paving warrant article?
No, that was,
Separate.
that was
Separate.
separate,
Okay.
right. So, yeah.
And any of that, I mean, I've watched the weather, it doesn't look like it's gonna snow for a few days. Any of that ledge work that can happen this year?
Yeah, we're hoping to. We're hoping to get the hammer. It's been a tough year for everybody,
Yeah.
as far as getting stuff.
Getting equipment and,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, getting parts
So
easy.
are you gonna rent the hammer to fit on your excavator, or are you getting the whole deal?
Well, I'm trying to see which one is the best way to go at this
Yeah.
point. But yeah, we could put it on our 40,000 pound machine, is what we're hoping. If not, then we'll just have one dropped off with the machine and all set to go. I'm hoping we can get it done in a day or two. That is what I'm hoping. It looks like the brown ledge, so that generally goes much quicker than the white.
mhm.
Good.
So that's for next Tuesday that we need to have all this paper.
Next Monday,
Next Monday.
right?
20th.
20th.
Yeah. Is that the last meeting we're having this year?
Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Unless that doesn't work for you, I'm not here the week after.
I just, usually we set aside the option of
So I'm gonna suggest
the
that,
30th,
that
whatever.
that we leave that open and we can gather. I will have to participate from afar, but if we have anything that we need to deal with
Yeah.
before the end of the year, at that point, then we'll have a quick work session and
Yeah, it's, over the years, it's happened a couple of
It
times.
has,
so
it has.
it's just nice
That's
to
right.
Do something that,
Yep,
especially encumbering is everybody thinks it's all done 2 weeks ahead of time, and then it's not all
yeah,
done.
that's right, that's right.
Okay.
Good.
One of the recommendations in the report on Tupperware Neck Road was signage, an additional sign down by the intersection. Did you see that?
I did, and it's funny because you drive it for so many years, you don't even pay attention to that, you just know who has the right of way.
Yeah,
But after looking, reading that and then driving, I'm like, yeah, that totally makes sense if you don't know the
Yeah.
road that well.
so I think it makes sense to get one on order and
I agree.
get her installed.
Yep.
And if for no other reason than somebody that's in the business has made that recommendation, if something, if we ignore it and as time goes on,
And it's up to-
something happens and
Yeah.
somebody says, you know,
Shame on
There
us.
wasn't any sign. We didn't
right,
want
right,
that.
right. So this guy recommended this to conform with road standards and you guys didn't do anything, what would you?
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'll definitely take care of it.
All right.
And it makes sense.
Made the election to take the liability on itself.
yeah, exactly. All right, anything else for
I'm good.
Mr. Bean?
Thank you, Mr. Bean.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Take care.
Thanks, Jim.
Hi, Dennis, come on down.
I will. Is everyone?
Good.
How are you?
Good. You're gonna have to get me this. Each get a little gift. Is that?
Yeah, you want some?
Oh, nice.
Right there, cookies.
Let's try that shit.
Mhm.
You're not getting mine. Cookies?
Listen, we were treated to, what's the place in Walpole there?
Yum yum.
Yum Yum, yeah, we were treated to those cookies Saturdays.
Well, good for you.
I can't eat those. Let's go into bad news first, okay?
Sure.
Our basketball program, we pulled the plug on. A lot of reasons. We find out from the high school, I met with the coaches there, and they have 8 Saturdays of clinics, the same time that I was gonna run mine. Had many conversations with Corey Hunter. He's been doing it 19 years. He thinks this is probably his last year. So that might be something we want to look at, maybe taking over. We tried to work it out, but there was just so much duplication of me doing it, him doing it, and high school doing it. For what, right? But plus we saved the Saturday fees for janitors. Plus I couldn't get the Tuesday night. So, long story short, we had all our sponsors and everything paid and everything. It was ready to go. So, we'll look at that next year, but that's the bad news. We had our paint class this past Wednesday, and we had a full class, 18 painters, and one of them was the nurse from the Central School. And we talked about the dodgeball program, which we only got 2 more weeks, and we got 30-something kids. So, my wife works at Huggins, and she does 2 hours a day of the COVID. And she had warned me a little bit about some of the issues in Tuftonboro and Wolfboro. So I asked the nurse, I said, what do you think? And she says, we don't want any of our kids getting sick for Christmas. Any more kids getting sick. So I said, so you think I should cancel? She goes, I'm not telling you that. All I'm saying is we don't want any more kids getting sick. So we did cancel last Thursday, this coming Thursday. We're gonna pick it up in mid-January. So I think that was the right move. You know, the kids do wear the mask when they play, but as I'm refereeing, you know, watching 30-something kids, parents are coming in without masks and stuff like that. So we're gonna pick that up again January. I think it's the 14th or 13th. So anyway, those are the 2 bad news. Okay, now let's get into some good stuff. All right. Here's we had a great day Saturday. We had our photos with Santa. We had 49 kids show up, 60-something adults. But the one thing I loved, they just didn't come take a picture with Santa. And this is Jen's husband's friend. His name was, I don't know his last name, his name was Steve. He lives in Alton. But it's great to have a Santa with the real beard, you know.
Yep.
It seems to be, I've been dieting though.
You know, we had all kinds of, like I said, Yum Yum shop and popcorn and coffee, hot chocolate. And it seemed like the people just stayed and mingled, and it was, you know, it was funny. That was the setup up at the townhouse, and as the kids come into the door, you know, you took a left and there's Santa, and it was kind of an awesome scene, you know, for the kids. So that was a real good program, I think. And I gotta thank Jen and Priscilla. I bought them some elf uniforms, you can see that, and my wife too, but, you know, Spiderweb let us borrow plants and stuff, and poinsettias and stuff like that, so it was a good program. So we're talking about budget a little bit, and our commission, we talked about the dock maintenance and the warrant article. And we tried to see how much we could encumber, but we just got the bill from Wolfboro this week. I think the check's going out. And based on my salary, I mean, I'm over my salary now, probably $700 at the end of November. And we still got December, and I'm working my head, I'm gonna work all kinds of hours, so. We're gonna be over the 18,000. So basically, long story short, as I go through the budget, there's probably a little less than 3 grand to encumber. So that's obviously not gonna take care of the dock thing. Some of our commissioners have already got bids on the docks. So I think that the way to go is what we talked about before, is the warrant article.
Refresh my memory on the dock thing.
With the what?
The dock thing. What,
Well, I just think we put it in the budget for 7 grand because we need so much repairs, and then the idea come up that maybe instead of Zach Tufts doing it, maybe we get an actual company, dock company, to come in and look at it, but just based on what Jim Beam's gentleman said and what Zach Tufts said, it needs a lot of work. They kind of like just Mickey Mouse stuff to get the thing through this year, and hardware is not cheap, so we put it in as a $7,000 thing, and it was the idea of the selectmen to maybe write it as a warrant article. So I think that's the route we gotta go, because we don't have enough money to encumber what's left in our budget. So, you know, the other thing too, just on budget-wise, I mean, I think you gotta look at what you want me to do. I mean, I'm gonna be over, I'm probably gonna be closer to 20 grand, maybe 19 grand, rather than the 18 grand, which was agreed upon. And you know me, I mean, I wanna do more. So come next year, I mean, do you wanna stay at that 18 grand and cut back, or do you want me to just kinda, you know,
So currently, on the 10th of December, we're showing $19,784
is that what it is now?
for you, yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be closer to 20 grand, yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than the 18, so. I mean, that's a decision you guys gotta make, and I'll go either way. Of course, I wanna do more, but, I wanna stay within budget, you know, restraints too, so.
And do we not, we didn't take any money out of here for Old Home Days?
there wasn't any expense.
Okay.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, as of this past Friday, which is the most recent,
Yeah,
reflects all the spending through now.
yeah.
You've got almost 6 grand total left in your budget. Part of that's gonna be your pay going forward and other things, but, you know, there are.
There's 6 grand, even after we pay the Wolf Bar?
Yeah,
It's already-
$5,923.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Town
So,
of Wolfboro's already reflected.
You shouldn't,
Right.
yeah, you shouldn't exceed the bottom line if you spend more in your line.
right,
It's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
so,
Way cool.
so do you have a quote for the dock work that you wanna do?
I gotta check with the members, they've been working on it, so.
Well, so let me lay it out there this way. If you have a proposal, if you get a project with a firm number, then we can encumber money against that for
Yeah.
next year, okay? Doesn't have to be the whole amount, all right? You just spend money out of next year's budget for the rest of it,
Oh,
okay?
Yes.
So if it's a $7,000 project and we say we can encumber $4,000 toward it, then you spend $3,000 out of next year's budget to get it done, all right?
But we gotta have a
We
proposal.
have- yeah,
before-
we have-
time is a factor.
Yeah.
Next Monday is, yeah, we need it by next Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want-
You got a meeting tomorrow, is
And
that right?
actually, if we're gonna if we were gonna go the other route of creating a warrant article, we need it by next Monday as well.
Yep.
Right. So, either way, we need a firm figure for somebody
Yeah.
by next Monday.
That's by next Monday, huh?
Yep. That's our last regular meeting of the year.
Okay. I'll get that to you.
And that's the last opportunity you're gonna have to encumber anything.
Yeah.
The warrant article, we'd like to have it, but if it's not there, we can still do that in January.
So if that happens, we wouldn't write the warrant article, would just come out, the balance would come out of next year's budget.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm not sure you got the information on the sailing.
So, bring us up to date on sailing.
Yeah, the biggest thing was the instructor. I mean, if we had the instructor
Right.
and the boat museum is gonna give us the boats, it's a go. So I met with him, he's fine with it. We basically come up with dates, salary, and his salary comes up to be about $700-800, I think. There is probably gonna be an expense because we're gonna go through US sailing on the training. A lot of it's online. But basically that's it. I mean, it'd be 2 days a week.
And you're gonna charge a tuition to the kids, right?
Yeah, Walpole charges $100, we would charge $75.
Okay, so that money can offset
Yeah.
the expense, right?
Mhm.
I did have a question raised to me
Yeah.
regarding other aspects of this. This is from the folks at the Boat Museum. Do you have a chase boat?
A chase boat?
Yeah.
It's,
So.
you have to
it's-
speed, I'm not sure what that, I
So-
didn't know
so-
what mooring was 3 months ago.
All right, so before you take off and do this, a chase boat would be something, if you get somebody that's out there sailing and goes, you know, way out there,
Yeah.
somebody's gotta be able to go out and bring them
Or
back.
something breaks.
Yeah, or something
Yeah.
breaks.
Well, they
You
get
know,
the cat.
they're wind powered. So if they're wind powered
But,
somehow
when
doesn't
they get off
operate,
track and they go, yeah.
Somebody's got to retrieve them.
Right.
You gotta be able
So-
to retrieve them.
What I would suggest is, you have a good relationship with the person that runs the program in Wolfboro, right?
Yeah.
Get a good understanding how all the pieces in running the program.
Okay.
It's great to have the boats available, it's great to have the instructor, but, you know, just a simple little thing like, I assume you guys have a chase boat set up.
Yeah.
They
You
don't.
know, I mean, we want to, whatever it is,
Yeah.
you don't want to get the program going and then get in the middle of it and it's like, yeah, we didn't think about this.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, so.
No, that's a good
It
It's
sounds.
new to me, I mean, this is all
Yeah,
new to me.
right. Right, so
I spent my
some,
days in gyms, not in,
yep,
So
so,
shake it out more.
I should have expanded my stuff.
yep, yep.
All right, I'll check, that's a good
So,
point.
you know, make sure, and maybe there are other aspects of this thing
Yeah.
that we don't know about at
Mhm.
this point. It's not a super complex program. I think it's great to bring it to the kids at Tuftonboro, terrific. But we want to make sure that we've got
Absolutely, yeah.
the bases covered. And there's always going to be stuff that comes up in anything that
Yeah.
we didn't anticipate. But if we camp on the brains of the people that have been doing it before and get the benefit of all their experience before we
And
launch
this is
into
gonna
it.
be off of 19 Mile Beach.
Yeah.
And is it the sailboats that they're putting up there, is it one sailboat or more than one sailboat?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
You don't know whether it's
So
a
there's
centerboard boat?
there's two different programs. One is the keelboat program, and Wolfboro's wants to run that,
Right.
right? And if Wolfboro is in agreement to two-party lease on this thing for the mooring, then we'll get a lease done, and that's their thing. But this is a small boat sailing,
So you're
right?
gonna have to.
This
I
is
think
what-
they advance, I mean, this is the WOPO program right here, and as they go from one, they advance to another one, so.
But those centerboard boats are gonna beach at the end of the day.
Right.
So they're gonna be, so we need to figure out where they're gonna beach them.
Right.
And you need to have a cable to lock them out.
I know at Albee Beach, I mean, I swim
It's all
down there.
big, by the way.
Is that your beach?
it was my grandfather's.
Yeah.
It's pronounced Albee.
I mean, to the,
Yeah.
to the right, as you're swimming, they're just there. They're just kind of there.
And there's no grandfathering for family down there, right?
I'm sorry.
There's no grandfathering for the family. You gotta be
get to
Wolford.
No, you're
You gotta
living
be
in
Wolford.
Tulsa.
I don't get to go.
Unless you walk in. You
No,
can
I
walk.
can't even walk in. But we're on 109. It's much more public, much more accessible from the rest of Winnipesaukee, because actually you can't get there from
Right.
upward. So I think we need to figure out some securing mechanism,
Mhm.
wherever you're gonna keep them.
Right.
So, I mean, sort of the details, I mean, how many boats we're gonna have, how
Yeah.
much beach space is gonna take to
Right.
beach them, how do we keep them secured, is there a place that you can put the sails and all the paraphernalia when you're not using them?
Right.
They're not hard, I don't think they're hard questions, but I think they're things that,
And-
like Chip says, if we don't think about this thing and we get into it and we got a problem, then that's not.
Right.
And some of this you could probably unload onto whoever's directing this guy you're hiring.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, he's obviously done it before.
Mhm.
And what we need to know is what's involved in the expenses of it, what's involved in liability, that sort of thing.
Yep, okay.
And I think he'll know as soon as he meets you that you're not a sailor.
Yeah.
I can't figure that out.
I got more bad news here for you.
I think you got through the bad news.
I thought I had the bad news over with.
Yep.
Anyway, we did get results from, we wrote 4 grants. 2 of our grants come in last week. One was the Meredith Bank for 25 grand. We did not get funded. This is for the bike trail.
Mhm.
I did get an email from Ball Peak Association there that they give money. And they, complimented us on, and basically, I mean, you look at the master plan, one of the 10 items they listed was a bike trail, believe it or not, on that master plan. But they said that the bike trail should come out of the town budget. So, we're 0 for 2. We're still waiting on the co-op electric. And that was for 10,000. So that's the bad news. But I mean, that's sometimes the way it is. Joyce Lake and I did spend time writing, both those grants and putting
And
it
you have
together.
a grand total for the cost of this thing?
55,000.
55,000?
Yeah. So that's.
Well, I will tell you that the Bald Peak and Meredith Village sort of move their focus around between things that they fund with their grants. In other words, this year they decide this is an area that they're gonna concentrate on, so that may be part of what you're running into here.
Mhm.
They shift their focus from one thing to another.
And
Well, they had a big issue too with the 501c3. That's where they fund. We're not 501c3. We're tax exempt, but we're not. And that was one of their issues too. When Joyce actually went over there and met with them, the lady did state that to them
where?
at Ball Peak.
Yeah, we need to get a better because it doesn't matter. When you give money to the town for a specific community project, that's a tax exempt.
It's tax exempt, it's just the same as a 501c3 is.
Yeah, I mean, we got a letter from Diane stating what we are.
It's actually better than a 501c3 because we don't get to charge them management fees
Right.
and all the rest of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I wouldn't be averse to you coming back, if you got a $55,000 project and you got somebody who wants to front some money, but they want to see some town participation, maybe we split it, maybe it's 27.5 apiece or something. Then we can write a warrant article stating, okay, it's a $55,000 project, 27,500 through donations and 27,500 through taxation. And there's any number of ways we can.
So the warrant article would go for this coming meeting.
Well, if you
Well,
got
maybe.
if you got your act together by January.
Then we gotta get the other half first.
Yeah,
So or something.
but if you're getting pushback from your donors, that they think the town should pay for it. You know,
Real deal.
we'll
Yeah.
do a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah,
Oh,
that-
heck,
that's the way
man,
to.
we might be able to do half, you know.
Yeah, what if the town were to do half?
Yeah.
What if the town were to do, you know,
Mhm.
40%, whatever? Would that make you can't commit the town, but would that make a difference to you as the donor?
Mhm.
You never know. till you
Yeah.
ask.
Let's go on.
So you got more bad news for us?
There's no, I just got good news
Yeah.
now.
The other
That's
thing-
what he said before, he just
One
got.
last thing on the bike then.
Well, if you remember, I quit my first day on the job too, so.
I know.
Be
Yeah,
careful.
right,
Okay.
and the resignation's still on the table, so it's like the presidential appointees, we can accept it at any time,
Get a
right?
local fundraising going too. I mean, there's probably, I know half a dozen people in my circle of friends that would give you money for a bike path. Not lots of money, but you know, $100 here, $100 there, and pretty soon we're talking some serious
Yeah.
money.
So, and another aspect of this to think about is the $55,000. Does that buy a lot of labor? And if it does, is there opportunity for volunteer labor to
Yeah,
substitute?
that's a good
part of it?
question, yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
For instance, the trail at Great Meadow. We had an organization that donated materials. We had a bunch of volunteers that are doing the actual labor,
Yeah,
putting the thing together. So the direct cost to town government is low.
that's a good
The
point, I
other-
never thought of that, yeah.
Talk to Kathy or Diane about Primex. You can ask Primex. We got a grant for a trail over at the county nursing facility
Mhm.
for $25,000. I don't know, that was over a decade ago. But they do that, it's to do with their promotion of health through
Physical fitness.
physical fitness.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which
So,
is,
and we're there, they are our carrier. So we can present them with a question whether or not they might want to
Mhm.
partially grant, or I don't know if they fully grant it, that would be a bit of a reach, but Primex, that's our insurance company, another place to look.
All right, let me finish up here, you guys got more important stuff to do.
We thought we did, but we're having a good time. You're always entertaining, Dennis. okay?
Yeah, good. Couple of items. It sparked my interest with this weekend up at the townhouse, and you know, we don't have a ski slope, a skating rink, a summer camp, but our facilities we gotta use, and that townhouse, believe it or not, I was 8 years as a manager of an Elks Club, and all I did is rent the place. There's no reason why we couldn't have a once a month potluck dinner, showers, birthdays, after funerals, TVs with Patriot games. But I'll tell you, we need a stove and we need a refrigerator. But that, I mean, I want to run a thing called Romper Room, which is kind of like a preschool, just play area up there. But we don't use that place enough, and I think we should. And I think it wouldn't take much. I mean, that one room is a junk room, where all the Boy Scout stuff is. And then you got your voting room there. But that is a nice facility, and there's no reason why we shouldn't look at that and maybe put something into it. Like I say, where that little fridge is under the stove, under the kitchen, you could put a stove there, and then to the right of it is a big storage cabinet. You can put a fridge there. But I think we gotta take advantage of that, and we don't. It just sits there idle to have a meeting once a week or whatever they do, but.
So there was a time in this town's history, well before I was here, when that was the center of town government.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where the
Selectmen
selectmen
were
meet.
there,
That's
tax
where
collector was there.
police
Right.
department was there.
Police
Yep.
department, right.
A very efficient police department too.
So, and that was at an earlier time, and now we're in this facility, and we have that available for voting and other meetings.
Mhm.
That's not to say that there aren't other things that we could do. As it relates to putting a kitchen facility in, so we gotta make sure we're on the same page with our health officer as it relates to, because now you're into a little different realm. And
If I may.
yes, you may.
The
The
what?
Willing Workers Hall in Melvin Village is available to be rented out. For example, I've had a couple of infant birthday parties there. They have a full kitchen facility, okay? You can get that for a donation, and it's up to you what you donate. If you call the lady, Mrs. House is her name, at the church. So there is a facility available with a full kitchen. When I was in the Boy Scouts many decades ago, we used to do a roast beef dinner during hunting season. And a lot of the hunters from out of state loved that idea that they come over and have a roast beef dinner, for example. But that hall is available. Now, how that works with the town, I'm not sure, but it's something to look into.
Yeah.
And that way you wouldn't have to put anything different in the townhouse. I agree that it's underused, we won't go any farther with that.
Yeah, so you're breaking up the food service from the function. So if you have a function that doesn't require food service,
Right.
that's the place to
You
have
could
it.
do it there. If you need food service, though, you could actually, for a small donation, use the Willing Workers Hall.
And there have been weddings up there. My daughters got married there, just,
I went to kindergarten there.
it's,
It's a very happy today, I don't know.
it's not
Yeah.
unheard of. So if you have something that doesn't require a lot of athletic banging and thrashing, then that's the place to do it.
I mean, I didn't know Saturday if there were gonna be 4 kids or 100 kids, and it ended up being almost 50 kids, you know? And
Yeah.
like I said, just sitting back watching, people just stayed.
50 kids, that's great. That's.
I was shocked, I was really
It's half the
shocked.
population of the
I was
school.
gonna say, I think that the school population over here is 110 right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's.
Well, we sent flyers through the school, you know, we put
Yeah.
it in the newspaper, we put it on Facebook, so, you know, it's 10 o'clock and there's Santa and Jen and myself and Priscilla standing up going, come on, where's the kids? And then boom. It was like the bus. Couple items, we are having that dog festival, we've had a couple of meetings, we're on work on that now, it's called Paws in the Park, it's June 25th, it's gonna be at Davis Field. Right now, we're putting a list together of dog-related businesses, so that's gonna happen June 25th. And the only other thing I thought of, it might be a nutty idea, but no one really knows what anyone else is doing.
We like it that way.
No, and I mean, like I remember with the Boys and Girls Club for 30 years, every Monday would have just a team meeting. It might be 15 minutes, it might be a half hour, but I don't know what he's doing or Jack or, I mean, and it might be an idea just to get the gang together once a week or every other week, just for 15 minutes to let people know kind of, oh, I'm doing this, and then I don't know, it's just an idea I threw out, but I don't know what anyone else is doing, to be honest with you, and they don't know what I'm doing. So I'm just throwing that out. And that's it, my report is done.
Team building.
I have 3 things I want to throw at you really quickly.
Go ahead, the meetings I don't know about, so.
Gotta go to the meeting tomorrow night and hit it again, but I can't stay there long because I gotta go up to the
There's no
budget.
meeting tomorrow night, Brennan's,
Well, thanks for letting me know. Good, I won't. You can't have a Zoom meeting, okay?
Yeah.
Which didn't work out anyway, but you can't have that without having somebody somewhere where the public can actually attend that meeting in person. So
Correct.
it's going forward, remember that.
I do.
We're not gonna increase the budget to take into account a sailing instructor for $700 or whatever. We're not gonna do that, okay? If we need to find it, we'll find it for you somewhere else in the overall budget. We don't need to do that. The dates that you threw out at us to send out requests and see what was gonna happen was way too soon. We couldn't have got it in the paper and met the deadline. So we'll do that in the coming year, after the 1st of January sometime. So it's gonna happen, but your timeline was too fast for us to get it out and do it right. That's all I got to throw at you.
You're the best.
Good, no meeting tomorrow
Figure
night.
it out.
Yeah, we'll make it work for you. Don't
All right.
worry, you're all set.
You guys are unbelievable.
No, well, I don't know if that's good or bad.
And I think these last 2 years have been different.
Yeah.
You had a pandemic.
Yeah, we had a-
So a personally, I'm looking forward to 22, hopefully, being more normalized. So when we're talking about your
It
salary.
don't look like that now, though.
It doesn't. When we're talking about your salary level,
Yeah.
we need, the work effort's wonderful, but I can't go to the budget committee with a number different than what we currently have.
No, I know.
Unless I've got some factual basis to do it.
Right.
So we're better off leaving things the way they are. And if the three of us need to find some money for Parks and Rec in the overall budget, that's easy enough for us to do. But I don't think it's a good time to change it.
Stay after it.
Yeah.
Yeah, get it. Get out there, get
I
those
think that
grants.
once we get into the real winter, I mean, my hours definitely will go down, I think.
And was the basketball thing just at the high school? You didn't consider doing it here at the grammar school?
Well, we still got the Thursday night. We're gonna continue, and I don't know, once we're done dodgeball in 2 weeks, what we're gonna put in its place. I mean, this gymnastic lady has talked to me, men's basketball, open gym. I really wanna do something with the kids, so. It's just I can't duplicate what other people are doing, and I'm not sure, I don't think it's a great system, to be honest with you. I mean, basketball's my thing, and I would do an outstanding job with it, but I just had to back off.
Well, and if there are other alternatives in the community that are already in place and operating, then duplicating that, I agree with you, doesn't, it's like, the whole idea is to make opportunities available
Right.
to kids and others in the community. So the fact that you have 3 competing opportunities for the same type of thing, but nothing in something else,
Right.
is less than optimal. So
Yeah.
I think it's good to say, yeah, we're not gonna do this now. And maybe I know basketball is your thing. If there's plenty of basketball coverage, maybe there's something else out
Right.
there that would meet a need or an opportunity in the community that we could develop.
Exactly, yeah. We did get a letter from the punt, pass, and kick. The national finals are in Texas, and I was hoping that they were gonna
I don't have any money in the budget to fund your flying down there.
to pay
Do we have
for the hotels or plane fares
Do
for
we have
all
somebody
of it.
that qualified for the Nationals?
Yeah,
We're the only one in the whole state that ran punt, pass, and kick.
Oh, so
it's a shoe-in.
So when I had talked to the guy, I said, "What's the next step? The regionals or the states?" He says, "Unfortunately, you're the only one to run it." He says, "So your guys go directly to the nationals,"
All right. Do we have?
not knowing that they weren't gonna pay for the flight and the hotel. He did say they're getting discount rates on hotels and stuff, but
So if we have somebody that wants to go, that needs help to do it, then let's
there's one real good athlete. I mean,
let's figure out how to do it.
yeah, to be honest with you,
You have money in your Parks and Rec budget,
we have
right?
money in the welfare budget.
We have money in the welfare budget. So let's not let that be. I'm not going to pay to send you down there,
yeah,
but the
The kid and his dad or whatever. or the
Yeah.
mother.
I mean, I'm just saying, we have money in areas that are.
that we could apply it to.
Right.
Yeah.
But we gotta do that, we gotta do that. by
I mean,
next
and one of
Monday.
the kids, the father came in and got one of the footballs and one of the tees so the kid could practice. And this is the kid that's, I mean, he's a real good athlete. I mean, he really is. He would be the one I would want to send. So I'll talk to him about it.
Yeah.
That's glad to know that. Good.
Yeah.
We also have.
And I'm not a Texas fan. I don't really want to
We
go.
all
Thanks.
also have local organizations that sponsor things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right then. Anything else?
Merry Christmas. Maybe we'll see you next Monday with a whole bunch of
How
information.
come I didn't get a cookie? No, I got nothing.
No, you won't.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Sure?
Bye, Dennis.
See ya. Take care.
So, Mr. Rulock, there's something.
I saw him.
He's been waiting, yes.
I don't know where he is now, but he was up there.
Mr. Wu?
Oh, Chris?
Yeah.
He was sitting out there.
I didn't realize you were gonna stay on top of him. Yeah. Outstanding.
Well, it's been fun so far.
It has.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yep.
So is the CIP budget meeting still at 6:30 or are they starting at a different time?
So,
On the website, it said 6:30,
yeah.
I presume.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Sounds like a plan.
That is a copy of year-to-date totals and then October and November's money.
We still don't have last year,
Well,
but we will next year, right?
yeah, I can give you what
You got this all,
I can give you where I assess as last year's.
right, but you have this all in a
Yeah.
spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So it'll be easy enough to transpose it.
I can't, like I said a couple times, I can't guarantee last year's numbers, but I can give you a rough idea.
Incremental,
They're pretty close,
incremental progress, that's all.
right? Yeah. We're just about ready to ship out another load of aluminum cans. Hopefully this week, tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll be shipping out about 10,000 pounds of aluminum. And hopefully by the end of the month, maybe ship out some cardboard. So that would be nice.
So this is showing three tons, 3.5 tons, so 6,000, 7,000 pounds. So you're gonna double this number.
Of aluminum.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have, we should have double that, yeah.
Okay. Sure.
And we're gonna ship out another almost 2,000 pounds of batteries, which you'll see there, 1.48 tons of batteries. So that's probably gonna bump that up to about 3 tons.
And what's the revenue on batteries?
About $500. So,
Okay, good,
yeah,
better than nothing,
yeah.
Yeah.
better than paying to get rid of it.
Right. Oh, yeah, I've got some real good news coming. We'll talk about money.
What else is going on?
Well, waste oil. We have a situation with waste oil where our friends at Clean Harbors have cornered the market, what we call a monopoly. They've gone out and bought up all the little companies that used to pump oil out. And now everybody that's on NRA's list, all the oil companies, all these ACV Enviro, San Enviro, Oil Energy Recovery, Weber Oil, Eastern Oil, all these companies are an entity of Clean Harbor. So when you call any of them to come,
Yeah.
you get dumped in Clean Harbors at $800. Well, I've called Clean Harbors and I've been waiting 6 weeks for that to come public. So I called the only company that isn't associated with Clean Harbors to get a quote to come pump us out. And the quote that they sent me was $2,301
For how much oil?
300 gallons.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's for one pump out.
Do I misremember that,
$7 a gallon?
That's,
do I misremember that we used to have, somebody used to come pump it out for the oil?
we
I
had,
mean, that would have been before your time, but,
probably.
you know, we didn't pay them, they got the oil out of it, and they were happy to have it.
Well, I was able to get rid of 40 gallons to somebody that burns it.
Mhm.
But we still have the 300 gallon tank that's full, but we need to get pumped out. But if, I mean, that's, you know, I broke it down to $7.67 a gallon, basically. That's what they charge us.
So you got, give DES a call?
I haven't called them
Yeah,
yet.
so I'd give them a call and see if there are alternatives. I mean, because you can't be the only guy in this box.
Yeah.
But $7 a gallon seems a little pricey. I don't know what, I haven't bought oil lately, but.
Oh, well,
Oh, it's
synthetic
just-
oil would be $6 a quart.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, so they're charging you a premium
Yeah.
on used oil.
It's $100.
I know, when I worked at Lakes Region Fire Apparatus, Randy Fry from Waltonboro would come and take the oil for his shop. Might be worth giving him a call, he may want some of it, anything, and, but $7 a gallon,
Yeah.
Yeah,
boy,
that's like twice as expensive as heating oil.
yeah, and you don't even get a kiss.
Get a price on a waste oil furnace.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Over and above the radiant heat that's in the pool. So.
Yeah. You know, a number of years ago, we looked at doing a conversion on the boiler to allow us to burn it.
Right.
And at that time, you know, the payback was way long.
Yeah.
Because the real issue is we only have a moderate quantity coming in. So it would be supplanting some of the oil we buy.
But we pumped that tank out 3 times this year. So it's 900 gallons.
Yeah. So,
I know 603 is going to be putting one in. Ed already has one.
Yeah, Ed said he spent $10,000 on his furnace.
Right.
And he installed.
Well, you're gonna spend $7,000 getting rid of
Yeah.
$1,000 oil.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And you got nothing.
right. Exactly.
No benefit at all.
Right.
Right.
So that's the situation with oil.
Well, put together between now and the 1st of January, a number on a waste oil heater.
Okay.
And we'll run that up to Platypole.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it would need to be installed.
Okay.
Yeah.
To find somebody and say he couldn't find anybody. I will.
So it's doing it himself?
It did himself, but I'll see if I can find somebody.
Maybe Ed wants to do a good job.
Yeah.
The only other thing we had was the balers that you put me on to. I put out the feelers on those, and I got some interesting information. The horizontal balers start at 70,000.
Ouch.
Yeah. And the $70,000 one is, I was told, don't buy that one. Because that one is the inexpensive one and it's not really good quality.
Yeah.
So, but I was also told that the company in Allenstown, this guy came up to the transfer station and
He's the guy that services our balers, right?
that's the guy from Atlantic, from Rollinsford.
Right. Okay.
The guy from Allenstown is a different gentleman. He's from recycling mechanical in New England.
Right.
He's,
I'm familiar with him.
they actually build compactors and whatnot. He leases them all over New England. He just put one in Harding Metal, $700,000 machine. But they do refurbished, reconditioned, new and used. And he said that we can get 2 factory refurbished compactors with factory guarantees, new motors, new pistons, painted machines that look new with complete factory warranties for the price of one new one. So that's something to think about.
Okay, so you're working on getting a quote on
Yeah,
that?
so he's gonna send me all the paperwork.
Okay. So that's part of what you need for the paper,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And there was something else that you were looking for, other,
Well, it was also on the other flip side of that, containers.
right? So, and have you got,
Yes, Atlantic sent me the quotes on those.
okay,
And those were like $8,000.
yeah, so if we're gonna put a warrant article here with all the stuff we need to have,
Right.
have the pricing stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we're ever gonna generate $100,000, enough to offset $100,000 baler,
No,
so
no.
Yeah.
we need to find something.
No, so, and that again, yeah, if the answer is a reconditioned
Well,
baler,
the 2 reconditioned ones are like $7,800 a piece. So we get 2 reconditioned balers for, $12,000 installed.
balers?
The upright balers,
Oh, okay,
2 upright
all right,
balers.
so I thought you were talking about a reconditioned horizontal, no?
No. The 2 upright balers for,
15,000.
$15,000.
Okay,
Seems good.
Yeah. We can put those out back, either outside, on the outside of the loading dock or inside on the loading dock. And that's the installs.
mhm,
He would come up and install them. All we have to do is supply him with power.
So 25 grand is gonna get you 2 balers in a container
2 refurbished balers.
and a container.
Probably, yeah.
So you got your operating machinery, now you just need your labor.
yep, well, the labor's in the budget,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So, that budget,
And can these be,
where's that budget, is that, is
this is
has the
done.
budget committee dealt with that yet or not?
No, Tuesday night, I go in front of the budget committee.
Right. Yeah, I forget what the issue was. We looked at it once, now we're gonna look at it. They didn't do it, they didn't vote on it.
Okay,
All right.
On another note, wind. We know that the wind takes trash out into the woods.
Oh.
Is it at all feasible to run 2 of your compactors with the door shut on each one of them at the downwind side? Can that work and help a little bit? Or, I mean, normally we have one open on both sides. And I realize the guy has to be there, but to step out and look at another one once in a while, maybe, is that a possibility? Would that help any? It's something to think about. I've been approached with that idea. And told the fellow that I would put it forward, so I did.
Well, it would, but what would help is if people would put the trash in bags
mhm,
and not just dump their loose trash in the popper
Well,
and dump.
given the history,
Full.
so
the
do we have,
likelihood of that.
do we have signage up there that says all refuse must be bagged?
I don't think so.
So that,
But people come up there with garbage cans full of sawdust, and dump it in there and it blows in people's face. And
right, so part of it is making people aware of that. So if we have signs that tell people we want it in bags. That doesn't guarantee that everybody's gonna do it. But that's,
Guilty as charged.
it's a step, yeah.
I mean, please bag your trash
Yeah.
and some sort of,
Yeah.
I suppose. I mean, I think there might be a physical solution to the problem.
My hope was that at some point in time was a barrier. My vision is at some point in time to plant a row of trees along that bottom edge of that berm
Yeah,
where that row of riprap is, just to the inside of that riprap, to form a windbreak. All the wind comes up and over that berm and just comes into that swale. And if we put a row of trees there to form a windbreak, it will cut most of that wind coming through there. We just need to put some trees there. I don't know when they designed that closure, why they didn't put a windbreak there. Whoever designed that closure.
wasn't their job.
Well,
They didn't have to run the facility.
So they were tasked with something that would meet the EPA requirement for capturing what was there. And all these other stuff didn't come into play there. So another thought with respect to the trash blowing out is strip doors. Just on one side of each of those, if you had a strip door, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that would work too.
I mean, it's
It's a good possibility.
it's a little harder to put stuff through a strip door than it is through a wide open opening.
Yeah.
But it definitely would reduce the
Yeah,
amount of stuff that gets blown out.
That wouldn't even have to go all the way to down, it could go a foot short,
Right,
as long as people could throw it in, it would
Right.
cut the
right.
wind, yeah, that's true.
So that's,
Well, I'm glad I opened that.
well, I know,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I've thought about that before, but I haven't ever.
Yes, it was
Got
brought
that.
to me,
Yep.
rather than that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a
Well-
good point, I didn't even think of that, but that would
Yeah.
work great, yeah.
So it's, you know, we try it and it doesn't work and no harm, no foul.
It's a small investment.
Right, exactly.
I'll have to look into that and see what we can get those.
All right, anything else?
I think that's all I have. So for those strip doors.
All right. Move on to the signature file.
If you still want a price on both the closed container and the shipping container, I had the prices for the closed container, with open doors for the paper to go into, that I had Atlantic give me, plus the container to put the bales of cardboard in, that type. Okay. The trucking type shipping container, okay.
I guess what I would say is, what I want is your recommendation for what you need
Okay.
to make this thing work. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other. You're the guy that, where the rubber's gonna meet the road. So we want you to have the equipment, storage, and whatever that we need to adequately deal with the paper. And then the labor piece becomes the making sure the quality going in is not gonna give us a problem.
So, the container that it's going to give us the highest quality. Yeah.
That's all you can do.
Yep. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Chris?
All right.
See you tomorrow.
So first item in signature is a voucher
Thanks.
Thank you.
to $7,290.60 from the milfoil expendable trust to reimburse the town for milfoil control expense for this year. Represents the 60% of the cost that we didn't get a reimbursement grant from the state on, and it requires one signature.
I'll move, we have the chair sign that.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Next, we have an application for veterans tax credit for Paul Johnson.
Paperwork's in order?
It's PID 40-5-19 and also one for 59-1-10. And the paperwork is in order, correct?
Yes, 2 different people though.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I'll make a motion to sign the veterans exemptions or credits.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yes, Dennis?
Can I just add one thing? I'm a little confused by next Monday. What do you need from me as far as the,
Well, what we need is something that we can use to encumber funds, which means if you have a contract or a quote from somebody that says this is what it's going to cost to do it,
okay.
then we can use that.
So that's different than the whole bid process.
Right.
Yes.
So your bid process was to do the swim lines. That was the, to do the swim lines and install and take out the docks. What you're talking to us about now is fixing the docks, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the difference is. I mean,
Well,
What
so
is repaired dock
in installing the docks is
Yeah.
taking them and putting them in the water. Fixing the docks is replacing boards, hardware, replacing dock sections.
so if I get a company to give me a bid by next Monday, that's all you need? Okay,
Yep.
that's all I need. All right.
Yep, thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Oh, I gotta go get it.
You think you can help them with that?
I can attempt to.
That would be,
I understand.
today is the 13th, right?
Yes.
Pretty soon.
Yes, it will. All right, and then we have a request from the tax collector to waive the online payment fee for a taxpayer that was unable to do it through the portal because they are from overseas. So $29.97.
No, forget it.
Yeah, so.
No.
$29 here, $29 there.
Pretty soon it's real money, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'll make a motion that we sign that for the tax collector who should have known better.
Yes, I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
That's so she'll have something to talk to me about on Friday.
There you
Believe
go.
me. She doesn't need any help.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to action items. We have, the only thing in here is an email from Caroline Tremblay looking for information on the Carroll County Broadband Committee for writing an article for her online publication. So Can't we put her in touch with the guy that's the head of that group who keeps sending us the emails? That would be good.
Excuse me.
And then also an email from Donald Willett about checking to see if there's an update on the land lease proposal I sent, or if you have any questions. This is the solar guy that,
Right.
and wanting to know what status is on that. Did he, I didn't remember, I remember he came and did a presentation for us. Did he send us a lease proposal?
I haven't seen it, that I remember.
No, I don't think he did. I think he just,
I mean, what I remember when he came and made his presentation is we said, put something together,
right.
and we'll look at it, and then that will be a catalyst for some conversation. But I didn't remember getting anything back, or if we got something, it was just sort of non-specific general information that
Right.
really wasn't a launching pad for a conversation.
But it's possible that solar panels at the old landfill might break up the wood.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how much.
So maybe we should have Cammy blast him off an email
Yeah.
and say, please resubmit your proposal.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yep, I mean, you can go back through and see if we actually got something from them, but
Yeah.
if we did, it's, I apologize, it's outside my memory.
It wasn't informative enough for us to take action.
Right. That's for sure. All right, so a bunch of correspondence here. Somebody that's applying for DES for renovation improvements down on Eaglemere South. Library statistics. Notice from Skip Sansucci that this guy in Portsmouth is retiring, and he's bringing all that work into the office up in Littleton. Notice of course completion for Sergeant Hathcock and for Chief Shigori. Tuftonboro Islanders Association newsletter. Permit by notification for dock repair on Sandy Island. Minor wetland permit application on 71-1-7. Minor, but lots of paperwork.
Right.
I guess that's,
Engineering company made a lot of money there.
yep. We get paid by the pound. All right, I think that's all we had in correspondence. Selectmen's update. Chip?
Nothing much new. I went over the proposal from Cobb Hill, and I think we need to get them in. I mean, I don't think
I
there's
agree.
any way around it. I did finally do the financial analysis on a department for the budget committee member who was asking for it. It was pretty simple, but I could see the stumbling blocks with percentages of FICA and cost of retirement and health insurance, but those are the only two. And that's about it for me. Got my truck running. Had to put a new battery in it, hope it does that.
Yeah. Those things don't last forever.
I know, Mr. Rule said he might be interested in it, so I might be off that someday. I'm hoping.
Guy?
Fielded several questions from citizens. How does the town determine the tax that they do on a vehicle? Got all the information from Jennifer, but everybody's happy with that. One concerning the wind at the transfer station. Just this morning, William Mila asked me about progress on Lion Lot. I was able to update him, basically what we all know. It's in other hands at the moment. The cemetery trustees are going to have to ask the selectmen to come up with $139 because we're going to be that much over budget. It's going to be a tough one.
And that's without having a sexton?
Yes. Without having a sexton. One of the reasons is we have signed a contract with Blue Ridge Landscaping to rehabilitate this townhouse cemetery out here. It's going to be quite extensive. It's going to be a multi-year process as it goes along. But, as we know, it's not in good shape. And the old section, which didn't get a lot of turkey damage, is terrible as well. We have a couple of full burials out there that were done in 2000 and 2004 that basically never came back. One of the recommendations we got was that we don't mow it as closely as we have been, which will probably spark the ire of many of the people who like to visit the cemetery, but Skip Cope thinks that's doing more harm than it is good. We should mow it more frequently,
So
but not as low.
how much is this restoration project?
Well, the start of it will be 28,000 and change.
So you're gonna present a warrant article for 28 grand?
No, we're not. We have made a deposit, and we will bring the rest forward as a down payment in our 2022 budget.
I thought that cemetery budget was done.
It is.
It is.
So you wanna increase it by 20?
No, we will leave it just the way it is.
Okay.
We have paid a portion of it already, which is why we're over, one of the reasons we're over. The other thing we're working on is we did a contract for tree removal. So we're actually $139 over budget, and we'd like the board
Well,
to find $139.
the budget report from Friday shows that you have $794 left.
That's what it says from Friday.
Right.
However, this morning, I've rechecked with Diane, and we're $139 over budget, bottom line.
Okay, so there must be a bill that hasn't been presented yet.
I would think so.
Walk me through it one more time. But I've been eating cookies.
I
Sugar
can
level.
see that you're right on hand.
You're gonna be over budget this year.
Yes.
Next year, you're gonna spend $28,000
No.
or a portion of
We've
28,000.
paid half of it already as a down payment, which
Okay, where did the $14,000 come from then?
from our 21 budget.
So you drove your budget over budget, paying $14,000 out that you aren't getting till next year?
That and another deposit which guarantees the work gets done next year, yes.
So this year's, I apologize, I don't have the budget submission for next year in front of me.
Right.
This year in cemetery maintenance, you had 15,000 and change,
Mhm.
and in old cemeteries restoration, you had 12,000.
Yep.
And you have spent all of that, you've spent about that total amount this year. And part of that is down payments on work for next year.
Yes.
And the rest of it, the other 27,000 is money that you're gonna be, that presumably is in next year's budget that you're gonna be spending next year. Is that correct?
It's not 27,000 for next year. It's more like 14,000. We paid
Total?
basically half.
You've already
Well,
paid,
I don't, as I say, I don't have your budget submission in front of me. But, and so you're budgeting less money next year.
Actually, we kept the budget flat.
So then you
Same
get
amount.
$27,000 budgeted next year
Yes,
again.
Yes.
So you'll have money for things other than the additional $14,000
Oh, yes.
you need for this?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So it's all part of the normal, it's just the timing because of not being able to get people to do stuff this year.
Exactly.
Yep.
And this rehab is very extensive. It involves aeration, seeding, fertilizing, and grub and other insect control, and composting. The biggest issue we have is we don't have irrigation.
Right?
Now, when another company was doing things for us, they would come and fertilize on a schedule. Then it didn't rain for 3 weeks and burned up a good portion of the grass. Having a local person, they will pay attention to when it's raining and when it's predicted and not do such things.
So are you thinking going forward of putting irrigation into the cemetery or into some section of the cemetery?
We haven't given that any consideration yet. The problem, of course, is water. Do we tap, much like the town garden, do we tap into the current well? And what effect will it have on our current well here at the town facility? We can't even hook up a sprinkler and a hose because the valves that are out there are spring-loaded, so they won't stay on. There's more to it than meets the eye here. It's quite a little bit of things going on.
Yeah, yeah.
I say it's been barely touched upon, but the expense involved would probably be considerable.
So, you're not out looking for us to obligate that money for next year.
No.
You've already spent it.
Yep.
So I'm gonna just say for the record
Mm-hmm.
that it's a bad policy and not what I'm gonna agree with,
Okay.
to pay anyone 50% of what they want up front.
Okay.
We'll obligate the money, I don't have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
But cutting them a check for $14,000, I'm not in favor of that at all.
Okay.
And if that contractor requires that money, maybe we gotta go out on the street.
I'll bring that back to the board at our next meeting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because he's gonna be sitting on, and I have nothing against Blue Ridge or wherever you hired,
Right.
but they're sitting on $14,000 worth of cash till next spring. They're not gonna do any of that work until June, probably.
Absolutely not.
So, yeah, they can sit on our obligation just as easily.
I understand fully where you're coming from. I'll bring it back to the board. I should say that whatever we are. I guess we're a board of cemetery.
Yeah.
Trustees,
I'll pass that on.
thank you.
I'm sure that the chairman will be
She can come in.
pleased to hear
I'd
what you have to say.
be more than happy to discuss it with
I
anybody.
don't think that's gonna happen. I think we're fine with that. It's good. But anyway, that's the cemetery trustees and pretty much all the updates that I have.
Okay. Thank you.
Something nice, Bill?
No, you know, I'm trying to think what went on this past week. My world was a blur. I did have a request from Chief Shigori. Both he and Sergeant Hathcock have quite a bit of vacation left that they're not going to be able to take, and we're looking for a payout for the balance as of the end of the year. And I said I would bring it to the board, and I think it was last year, we did a carryover for people with vacation that were impacted because of the pandemic. So,
I guess my only,
and maybe we
I don't like paying anybody more than 52 weeks pay.
right.
But I definitely don't want to pay more than 52 weeks worth of retirement. So if we
Yeah.
do come up with a settlement, it's going to be less retirement. And all the rest
So,
of
a good point, and maybe we need to have a conversation with the chief about that, but he had a concern about that. So that's the only thing that I had to.
I think we should have Jack update us. If you don't mind, Jack, I'll get it wrong about the
So the road
classified.
thing in Ossipee. So I called the town of Ossipee. They maintain 0 of Wildwood Estates Road. They plow to the entrances of Terrace Pines, and they just clear out the entrance of Wildwood, so the whole thing is a private road. So our section out there is, not abutted by a maintained road, so.
And it's only about, I
It's
see
not long, no.
less
Yeah.
than 100 feet.
Yeah, it's not much.
But we'd still have to go through, regardless of what the state of New Hampshire thinks, we'd still have to go through the process of discontinuing.
Right, so there has to be a public hearing, doesn't have to be town meeting, a public hearing, and there's a form in here I can fill out, I just need a record of the minutes of the public hearing and
Yep.
send it in, so.
Yep. So, but it has to be a noticed meeting, a noticed hearing. So-
Yeah, so 10-day notice for
Yeah.
a selectmen meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to suggest that give Cammie whatever it is we need to have, and that we have the hearing at our first meeting in January, because we don't have notice requirement time available for now.
Right. And I don't think we should ambush whoever owns property out there.
Right.
Let's see who they are, forward a notice that we are gonna have a hearing in
Okay.
January.
Mhm.
And, because if there's concerns, I'd rather not have them.
Right,
Right, after the fact, yeah.
right.
I mean, I don't have a problem with
So-
the way it is.
Yeah, there's
So,
not a lot of people out there in the wintertime.
there's only one, or there
One,
two now, yeah,
Gary Kusker and
right.
one other person's in and out, but if you go up there, there's a gate from 1 to 23, I think it is now, that closes it off in the winter.
Yeah.
All right, so
It'd
maybe,
be nice to answer as much as.
so maybe we ought to hold off on noticing the hearing until we've
You send a letter out to the.
sent a letter out to the property owners telling them that this is something we have to do and that we'll be
Right.
dealing with it, and we can do the hearing later in January. But I think you're right, rather than just have them first find out what's going on, yeah.
I thought COVID was bad, maybe I'm a heart attack.
Yeah, I guess the other approach would be to entertain putting the Class 6 section back under town maintenance, and
I'm all for that.
that's
I'd make the whole thing class 5. And I think,
The issue with the class, well, not an issue with it, but the class, the part that comes from Canaan all the way through
Yeah.
is actually not the end of Wildwood, it's actually up above it, it comes around and loops back in.
Right.
So, yeah.
right, but that's where it connects into that little piece of town road.
Correct, exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it wouldn't affect anybody in there unless they wanted to take a long route to get in there. So.
well, it means they could come in from the Tuftonboro side rather than having to come in
Correct. Yeah.
from,
Yeah, 'cause I know people out there who live out there talk to Ossipee, because Ossipee, fire department goes there, police go there
Yep.
first and all that, and they asked if they could bring trash to Ossipee landfill. It was a,
right,
so,
Interesting.
because it's much closer, obviously, they have to almost drive by it. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, well,
so,
that's the way it is.
Yep.
So they can bring it by boat over to the other shore and then drive.
yeah, there you go.
All right,
All right.
Thanks, Jack.
Jack. All right. Any other business?
no, I think we're good.
I think we have, do we have something that we need to deal with in non-public, or is it?
Yes.
Yeah, there is.
Yes, we do. All right. So, do we have any public comment? Any public questions? Yes, Joe?
Question for Chip. Chip, did you receive anything from the budget committee yet, either from Gordon or Dennis, in reference to the budget committee's request is for a little bit more detailed information on their budget? This is the second time this week that, since the last meeting, I'm bringing it up. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is when we have a meeting tomorrow night, if we're gonna spend time on this, it's just a waste of time, so. Did anyone contact you?
Well, I think your premise that it's a waste of time is misplaced. But you have to understand that the library needs to present a budget to the budget committee. I have nothing to do with that.
I understand.
We also have the chairman of the library trustees, Gordon, on the budget committee. It's my feeling that between those two,
The
the
other people
library,
figure it out.
they can figure it out. I don't think anything that I could add is gonna help.
That wasn't my question. My question was, okay, it was requested by one of the budget committee. The people on the budget committee said, yeah, we're gonna get it to you. Okay, and now we're gonna meet tomorrow night. I mean, I sit there,
I know there was a lot of information that went out by email
okay,
to budget committee members. I
Alright.
never opened that stuff, so.
I'm just trying to,
Can't help you out.
an extended conversation for tomorrow night.
We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
And that meeting is at the townhouse, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we need to go into non-public for personnel.
I'll second.
Marcus, yes?
I'll be yes.
Pike, yes.
Okay,
Thank you, Joe.